Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. So today we're diving into a really fascinating concept that kind of challenges everything we've been taught in school. We so often think of intelligence as this static number, right? Like a test score or just how much raw knowledge you can cram into your brain. But based on the material we're analyzing today, we're going to look at how your daily actions, not just your knowledge, fundamentally shape your perceived intelligence. It's a completely different way to look at how we navigate the world, and honestly, it's absolutely empowering. Okay, let's dive right into this. Think about this for a second. Do your daily habits actually make you look less intelligent than you are? We almost always assume intelligence is just about how much you know. But sometimes, without us even realizing it, our unconscious everyday behaviors are secretly sabotaging how smart we appear to everyone else. I mean, you could literally be the smartest person in the room on paper, but if your daily habits are sending out the wrong signals, that brilliance, it gets completely lost in translation. The absolutely crucial truth here is this. Intelligence isn't just what you know, it is how you behave. It's this dynamic, living set of daily actions. In reality, your intellect is demonstrated every single day through your choices, your interactions, and your habits. Today, we're explicitly debunking the myth that intelligence is just about having book smarts. Instead, we're going to explore 5 specific habits that our source material identifies as major red flags. Let's move straight into our first major behavioral pitfall. Habit 1, the reaction trap, mastering emotional control. Okay, so picture this. You're faced with a sudden challenge. Reacting instantly to it, whether that reaction is fueled by a flash of anger, maybe unchecked excitement, or just pure frustration, visibly demonstrates a total lack of control. And that instantly lowers your perceived intelligence. Responding without thinking is a huge trap. But notice how highly intelligent people approach the exact same situations. They utilize what we call the intelligent pause. They take a beat, process what's actually happening, and then they respond with absolute clarity. That tiny fraction of a second between an event and your response, that is exactly where your true intelligence shines through. Which leads us to a really powerful question for your external communication. Are you actually listening, or are you just waiting to speak? We just looked at internal emotional reactions, right? But now we need to shift our focus outward. When you're in a conversation, what is your brain actually doing while the other person is talking? And this brings us to habit 2, the ego trap, talking versus listening. Man, this is a trap so many people fall into, dominating conversations. When you're constantly trying to prove a point or you're fighting tooth and nail to dominate the airspace in a room, you might think it makes you look smart, but it actually does the exact opposite. Truly intelligent individuals, they observe carefully. They listen way more than they talk, and they speak only when they have something meaningful to add. They understand a pretty profound truth. Silence often says significantly more than a flood of unnecessary words. Let's look at habits 3 and 4, the mindset divide, complaining and closed minds. Breaking down these mindsets makes the divide incredibly clear. With a fixed mindset, your immediate response to a problem is blame. You're blaming situations, blaming circumstances, or you're blaming other people. Instead of looking for a way out, this mindset gets intensely fixated purely on the problem itself. And their approach to knowledge? Well, they think they already know everything, which basically means they flat out refuse to learn or accept new ideas. But contrast that with the SMART, or the growth mindset. Smart individuals shift their focus entirely. The response to problems is finding solutions and adapting. They look for ways to improve and move forward instead of just staying negative. And when it comes to knowledge, they are constantly learning, they're questioning themselves, and they are always evolving their thinking. Intelligence really isn't about being right all the time. It is about being open to change. Honestly, if you think you already know everything, you just stop growing entirely. Adapting your perspective when you're presented with new information, that is the ultimate sign of high intelligence. And that brings us to our final behavioral red flag today, habit 5, trying too hard, the illusion of competence. You have absolutely encountered these specific behaviors before, or, let's be real, maybe even caught yourself doing them. Aggressively forcing your opinions on others, constantly interrupting conversations just to get your point across, or loudly showing off your knowledge to anyone who will listen. When people try way too hard to impress others using these tactics, it almost always backfires. It definitely doesn't scream genius, it just broadcasts insecurity. There's this ultimate contrast between the desperate need to prove yourself and calm confidence. Real intelligence simply doesn't need to prove itself. It definitely doesn't need to shout to be heard. True intellect naturally shines through, clear thinking, and above all, respectful communication. When you are truly smart, your calm confidence basically does all the heavy lifting for you. Okay, so we've identified the traps. Now let's look at the resolution. Building intelligence every day. The single best takeaway from our sources today is that intelligence isn't fixed at all. It's a muscle you build. Step one is simply awareness. Noticing these habits in yourself is the absolutely mandatory first step. Step two is change, actually catching yourself before you instantly react or right before you interrupt someone. And step three is daily action. You have to actively practice the pause, practice your listening skills, and practice seeking solutions every single day. I want to leave you with this final, lingering thought to reflect on today. Which of your daily habits is speaking louder than your words? Remember, people are reading your intelligence through your actions, your emotional control, and your willingness to grow. Keep evaluating your behavior, keep building that intelligence muscle, and never stop learning. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparks some amazing self-reflection for you.